Good afternoon and welcome to the November 17th, 2022 hearing of the Seminole County, Florida Special Magistrate. Before we begin, I'd like to advise everyone about the procedures that govern appearances before me. This meeting is open to the public under Florida's Government in the Sunshine Law. Therefore, every effort will be made to hear all persons having relevant evidence or argument to offer. The ethics law of the state of Florida requires that the county keep track of every person who appears before an official hearing officer of the county, whether in an effort to influence the decision-making or to encourage the passage, defeat, or modification of any proposal or recommendation. In order to implement the state law, it is required that every person who appear before me be registered with the clerk to my left. The cases where the respondent is present and signed in will be heard first. You will be sworn in or affirmed by the clerk. Once all cases where the respondents are present have been heard, I will return to hear the remaining cases as they appear on the agenda. When your case is called, please be seated at the table reserved for the respondents, which is right here. In that the county has the burden of proving a violation exists, the county will present their case, and then the respondent will be allowed to present their case. Additionally, please limit your comments to only information relating to this case. Each party may question witnesses offered on behalf of the other party. Additionally, staff members may question those appearing before me. I will then make my decision based upon the evidence and testimony as presented by both parties. All proceedings before me are electronically recorded. Please speak directly into the microphone at the center of the table and state your name clearly before presenting your case. Should you need assistance due to a hearing impairment or a language barrier, please inform the clerk upon registration. To avoid interference with cases being presented to me, all cell phones and other electronic devices are to be turned off or silenced while inside the chambers. Thank you for your cooperation. And the clerk will swear in anyone that wishes to speak.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, the first case is 2297 CESM. If you want to come up here, yep. And we'll just let the county make a statement and then I'll turn to you.
Kyle Kasich, Building Inspector, case number 2297, Justin Confort, 116 Habersham Drive, Longwood. We have agreed with the property owner that the property is in violation, and we have agreed to a 60-day compliance window. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Sir, can you state your name and address for the record?
Justin Conforti, 116 Habersham Drive.
Okay, and you're the property owner?
Yes.
Okay, and do you agree the property is in violation and that 60 days is your time for compliance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. So ordered, you'll get an order in the mail.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Since that is the only case where we have a respondent, we will just go in order then. That's the only respondent, correct? Correct. Okay. Next case is 1791 CESM, which is Magnolia Golf Club Holding, LLC.
Oh, that's not.
Sorry, I went in order of the agenda. So no one is here for the association?
Oh, it's not the association, because this is privately owned.
Okay, you're right. For the owner, nobody's here for the owner?
No, they usually have their attorneys here, but nobody's here.
Okay.
It's a lot of paper.
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Joanne Tamilanis, Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Code Enforcement. For the record, I'm submitting a copy of this PowerPoint to the clerk as Exhibit 1.
It is accepted, thank you.
Thank you. This is case number 1791 CESM. The respondent is Magnolia Golf Club Holding LLC. This is a repeat violation. This is parcel ID 032029 5PG FB 000000, also known as 600 Shadow Moss Circle, Lake Mary. The violation charged is Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4 is defined in 95.3B, uncultivated vegetation in excess of 8 inches in height. And it shall be unlawful for any person to accumulate, dump, or cause, or allow to be accumulated, or dumped, or cause, or allowed to be placed, or otherwise to cause or allow to exist on any lands or premises any nuisance as defined in this section. This is a little bit unusual case because we had actually 2 repeat violations come up back to back, so they're both listed on this PowerPoint. If you need them broken down, we can do that. Okay.
No, that's okay.
Okay. So the first violation of this repeat observed on 5/19/2022, and I believe this was probably the 5th time they've been in repeat violation, if I have that correct, and the next one will be the 6th time. The letter went out to the owner and registered agent on 5/23/22. I also sent an email out to Scott Mikesell, who is one of the sons who I had previous contact with. He said he would like to work with me going forward on his father's behalf, who was...
How long ago was that conversation?
That was in... I could give you an exact date, but I think it's October 2021.
Has he been working with you?
I did send him an email. He did respond back to me. This initial violation, we were only out of compliance for about 2 weeks, but then it went right back into repeat. And ever since then, he did not respond to my emails, nor did we get compliance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So my follow-up inspections after that email, and of course sending the letters out to the owner and of course to the clerk, 5/27 and 6/2, and the repeat violation was in compliance on 6/2. The second time it came into repeat during this time period here was on 6/17/2022. Again, I sent the letters out to the owner and an email out to Scott Mikesell, the owner's son. And follow-up inspections, as you can see, are 6/23/22. I don't know if you want me to call them all out for the record. 6/29.
No, it's okay. I recognize them, and they're entered into the record in writing. I
Okay.
do have a question for you, just so I'm clear on the notice being good. So when you sent the email to the son of the owner, did you also send the owner certified mail notice?
That should have been done by the clerk. I didn't send it out. I sent an affidavit of repeat violation to the clerk, and the clerk is the one that usually sends that out certified. Whether she got a green card back on that, I don't know. No.
So the property was posted?
For this hearing. For this hearing.
And for the violations?
No, it wasn't posted for the violations.
So what notice did they get for the violation?
I sent a notice, it was a copy of the affidavit of repeat violation, same one I gave to the clerk, and there's a repeat letter to owner. I believe that is in the file. I could, yes, it's in the
Okay,
file.
I just wanted to make sure the actual property owner got the notice, because you had mentioned the son, and,
That was just a courtesy to reach out to him by email, because he had offered that to me last year. As I said, I believe it was October 2021.
Okay.
And he offered me his email in case I needed anything in the future. He wanted to work with me, so I just did that, hoping that we could make some progress this time, because
Yeah.
it's been a struggle in the past, so.
absolutely, well, extra notice is good, so you noticed the owner and his son.
Yes, and the registered agent, of course, because this is Magnolia Golf Club Holding LLC.
Correct, but you noticed all three?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next repeat violation was observed on 6/17/2022, and again, the same process I just explained about notice, a repeat letter to owner, along with that email to the son, and the affidavit of repeat violation also out with the repeat letter to owner, and those documents to the clerk, same process. And that email was sent out on 6/20/22 for this particular time period. The follow-up inspections between 6/23/2022 up until this morning, I re-inspected again on 11/17/2022, and the violation of uncultivated vegetation over 8 inches in height remains on the subject property. I have a large PowerPoint here, so I have omitted some slides as much as possible to save time and keep the PowerPoint from crashing. And I thought that was going to happen a couple of times. So some of them I'm just going to explain what I measured and without a photograph, but I will throw photographs in from time to time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So on 5/19, I inspected the property and looked at example areas. Of course, I'm not looking at all 190 or 200 acres. If I see large areas out of compliance, I don't continue. So I documented an area of hole 16 with grass measuring 28 inches in height, area of hole 15 with some areas of grass measuring up to 29 inches and others estimated at 16 inches in height. Approximately 1/3 of the area in the vicinity of hole 8 with grass measured at 21 inches. All of the area of hole 9 in violation with grass measuring between 26 and 29 inches in height. And these areas are documented in violation were dry and capable of being mowed as the ground was not soggy or flooded. And I say that because in the past they have said we couldn't possibly mow because it was too wet, and this is not the case. If something was underwater like that, I wouldn't be addressing it in this manner. The next photograph shows how I have been making the pictures more possible to understand how high the grass is by putting a white board. In this case, I used to use a black one, but that one died. So I created a new white one so that I put this down into the ground, and you see the cross member on the very bottom. I don't know, Kara, can you point to where I'm talking about? No pointer. On the left slide, you see the metal stake part, and then you see about maybe 5 inches up, it's got a crossbar. So when I poke that into the ground, it stops right there, which is how I can calculate the measurement every time. So of course I measured it out with a tape measure, and there's also another crossbar which keeps that whiteboard from going any further down. So there's no manipulating on my part. It would be to their advantage if I were to manipulate this board.
Right.
Okay, so the bottom line, I don't know if you can really see that properly. The bottom line with the masking tape is 12 inches, and the other line with the masking tape says 24 inches. Or you can see that better on the right. I'm looking on the left. Okay, and the next photograph, you see on 5/27/2022, the example of area hole 16 by 913 Sweecum Valley Place is over 24 inches in height, and this board makes it easy to see that. Without that, it just looks like a field. During inspection on 6/2/22, I found the property in compliance, and I followed up with filing an affidavit of compliance after repeat violation. So that should technically have stopped that fine. Of course, I got more complaints that it was in violation again. On 6/17, I observed the violations, and whole area 15 was approximately 20 inches in height on that date. Did you get ahead of me, Kara? I lost where you are. Okay, I see where you are. Go ahead. The next one on 6/17/2022, hole 8 area, approximately 22 inches in height. On 6/17/2022, hole 9 area near hole 8 was over 24 inches in height. This is also 6/17/2022, hole 9 area, different section, different end, closer to the end by hole 1, which was over 24 inches in height. You can see this is just the backyards of a whole row of houses, which is the case for most of the properties that I'm looking at. Because I'm usually staying right on the main road that just goes in a circle, which is Shadow Moss Circle. I'm not veering off too often to look at more, because it's always right there.
Right.
Okay, so then on 6/23/22, example areas that I inspected were area of hole 17, 16, 12, and approximately half of 15 that were not in compliance on that date. On 6/29/2022, I received a call from Troy Blackwell. He is the supervisor of the mowing crew. I have been working with him for about 6 years. And he advised that the golf course was all mowed out and requested an inspection. That turned out not to be the case. So the inspection revealed that approximately half of the golf course in the area of hole 18 measured 22 inches in height. Approximately 1/3 of hole 2 was approximately 20 inches in height. A section of hole 5 in the vicinity of 1566 and 1578 Redwood Grove Terrace at approximately 20 inches in height. Also an area between hole 9 and 1 measured 22 inches in height. These were examples of non-compliance on that date. I followed up with an email to Scott Mixell and Troy Blackwood explaining the results of the inspection. I also spoke to Troy on the phone, and he advised that he still only has 2 people to mow, which includes himself. Okay, that's been an ongoing issue that we've been back and forth talking about. 2 people, in my opinion, cannot maintain 190 acres that need mowing throughout growing season, summer, part of spring, summer. So they still only have 2 people to mow this entire course. On 6/29, this is another photograph, and this is one of those cases I lost track of where I was that day, so I can't tell you an address. It was part of the golf course, 600 Shadow Moss Circle, but I could not relocate that clump of bushes. On 6/29/2022, you'll see I did not use my board. I actually pulled out the regular measuring device and showing 23 inches in height, and I can say that's 600 Shadow Moss Circle. That is the golf course, and I do not know the house number in the background. This is area of hole 9 near hole 1 at approximately 22 inches in height. That's on 6/29. The next photograph is area of hole 9 by 1, still not mowed, on 7/1. On 7/1, many areas in violation during the last inspection are still in violation, and other areas continue to grow, which are no longer in compliance. Examples of areas still not mowed since last inspection are holes 18, 13, 2, 9, and 1. Now we're on July 5th, 2022, and this is the area of hole 17, measuring at 24 inches in height. On 7/5/2022 also, this is hole 16 area at 23 inches in height. On 7/5, the area of hole 3 at 23 inches in height. On 7/29/2022, area of hole 17 at 25 inches in height. On 7/29/2022, area of hole 16 by Sweetcomb Valley Place, between 22 and 28 inches in height. Most of hole 16 appears to be between 22 and 28 inches in height. Measured 27 inches in height by area of hole 8 on 7/29/22. On 8/12/2022, area of hole 9 near hole 1 is at 24 inches in height. On 8/12/2022, hole 9 near 1 at 24 inches in height. On 8/12/2022, Hole 9 area, over 24 inches in height. 8/19/2022, area of hole 17 at 23 inches in height. Also, hole 16 was at 22 inches, hole 15 and 19 inches are not shown here. Area of hole 16 over 24 inches in height on 9/9/2022. That's a close-up, same area. Area of hole 16 over 24 inches in height. Again on 9/9/2022. Area hole 15 over 24 inches in height. Just different angles of this photograph and close-ups. Yeah, the other one is another angle, next one, right. That's area 15 over 24 inches in height. So you can see some of these, how far back these sections go. Again, that's 9/9/2022. Next one is 9/23/2022. Area of hole 18 over 24 inches in height. Hole 17 on 9/23/2022 over 24 inches in height. 9/23/2022, area hole 3 over 24 inches in height. 9/23/2022, area hole 8 over 24 inches in height. Area hole 9 near hole 8 over 24 inches in height on 9/23/2022. On 9/23/2022, area hole 9 by 1 at 24 inches in height. Going on to October 7th, 2022, area hole 18 by 704 shadow moss circle over 24 inches in height. On 10/7, area hole 3 by 1270 shadow moss circle over 24 inches in height. This area is very dry, just to clarify that as well. Also observed area of hole 9 at 24 inches, hole 8 at 23 inches, area of hole 2 approximately 20 inches, and those pictures are not shown there. On 12/18, area hole 3 across from 1270 shadow moss circle over 24 inches in height. Again, the area is dry. All of these areas have been dry. I just periodically put that back in there for clarification. On 10/18/2022, area hole 9 over 24 inches shown here. And the inspection results, the example areas inspected on 10/31/22, area of hole 17, the grass weeds measured at 21 inches in height. Area of hole 16, grass weeds measured at 18 inches in height. Area of hole 3, grass weeds measured 18 inches in height. Area hole 8, measured at 20 inches in height. Area hole 9, measured at 20 inches in height. On 10/31, area of hole 17 at 21 inches in height. Area of hole 16 at 18 inches in height. On 10/31 again, area of hole 3 at 18 inches. Area of hole 8 over 20 inches. Area of hole 9 at 20 inches. Again, all areas measured on the uncultivated vegetation were dry and capable of being mowed as the ground was not soggy or flooded, despite having a few storms. On 11/8/2022, the inspection results were that area of hole 15 measured at 19 inches in height, area hole 16 measured 15 inches in height, area hole 8 23 inches in height, area hole 9 26 inches in height. On 11/14, area hole 8 23 inches in height, hole 9 23 inches in height, hole 16 measured at 26 inches in height. And this morning, examples, area of hole 9 near hole 8, and also giving an address, 1656 Shadow Moss Circle as a point of reference, measured at 24 inches in height. Area of hole 8 measured at 23 inches in height. area of hole 9 near hole 1, and by 1716 Shadow Moss Circle, measured at 23 inches in height. And I could pause right there and put in another exhibit for pictures that did not make it into the PowerPoint from this morning, if you would prefer I do it that way.
I think you've established the violation.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the suggested recommendation by the code enforcement officer is, based on testimony and evidence presented in case number 17-91 CESM, it is determined that the respondent, Magnolia Golf Club Holding LLC, is the owner of record of the property located at parcel ID 03-2029 5PG FB000000, located in Seminole Counties, determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and is in repeat violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 95, Section 95.4, as defined in 95.3B, and further recommend that the special magistrate issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $84,000 for 160 days of noncompliance from May 19th, 2022 through and including June 1st, 2022, and June 17th, 2022, through and including November 17th, 2022, at $500 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $500 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after November 17th, 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think my question has more to do with procedure, because I do think there's clearly a violation, again, of the code. So I don't question that. But I guess since the lien was released on March 25th, is it your position that we don't have to have another finding of violation today before we impose a lien at a second hearing?
No, the original order, I believe, is December 14th, 2017. I know it's in December. So we're still within the 5 years. So that release of the lien, I believe you're referring to the lien amnesty program that happened in 2021? I could dig through my notes, but that had nothing to do with the order that we were under. That was just a special thing that the county put on.
So it waived the money, but not anything to do with the
Right,
order? I just haven't seen that, so I don't
Right.
know what exactly.
Yeah, that was the first or second time possibly since I've been working here that there was a lien amnesty program. But to my knowledge, it does not affect the original order. It was just, if you can get your property in compliance right now, we will waive the existing liens and fines, because there were several of them. Like I said, I believe this is, actually, we're up to the 6th repeat violation here.
Right.
So there were some fines assessed, but they were, or maybe they were just administrative costs. They were always reduced from maybe $25,000 down to, $1,200, and I think they paid an administrative fee one time of $300 and something, and then there was another reduced fine amount. I think it was $1,250. I'm getting got some of this going on here. But they didn't pay that one. And then the next one, I believe, was $54,000, and they did not pay that one. And then the lien amnesty program came up. So they were required to show that they were in compliance before the county would release that lien. But to my knowledge, it has no bearing on the actual order, so that if they repeat it again, as we're doing here, then we're still on that standing order from December 2017, which is good for 5 years. So we're within that time frame that this should still be a repeat violation, in my understanding.
No, and I agree, it is a repeat violation, but what I'm saying is, since it came into compliance, when let's just say this was an initial violation, we would have a hearing, we would establish the violation, we'd give them a time to correct, and if they didn't come into compliance within that time, we'd take them here for a second hearing and impose the lien. So now, we had an order finding a violation, there was a lien, and now we're finding them in repeat violation, which I agree with. But I think this is that violation hearing, and then we would need a second hearing to impose another lien, is what I think the process should be, unless, that's what, and so what I'm thinking is, and I know the statute says, and that's what I was kind of pulling up, I know the statute says that you, the code enforcement officer, do not have to give them a reasonable time to correct on a repeat violation. So you're correct there, but I still think I should make the finding a violation and say, if you don't come into compliance within X time, we'll bring you back for a imposition of a lien. But I haven't seen the December 2017 order either. So what I can do is hold off on issuing an order right now, get the 2017 order, review it, and then let the clerk know my order later today or tomorrow morning. Because I have the 2017 order, just, I don't think it's here with us, right?
I may have it in my paperwork, or the clerk probably has a file with that. I can dig.
Do you want to take a 5-minute break and get the 2017 order? Okay,
That
we
would be
will take a 5-minute break and return shortly.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and reconvene. I'll just give you guys a minute to come back down. So, as I mentioned before the 5-minute break, the property is clearly in violation. Again, we, during the break, reviewed the 2017 order, which authorized the maximum penalty under state law if it went back into violation for a repeat, which is $500 a day. So, and pursuant to Section 162.09 Florida statutes, I don't believe another hearing is necessary for imposing the lien. So I will go ahead and order staff's requested order, and I will provide a copy of that order to the clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will call the next case. The next case is 2289 CESM, respondents Lynch and Allen.
$22.49?
2289 Joseph Lynch and Katrina Allen.
Kyle Kasich, Building Inspector. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request it be entered into the record.
It's accepted, thank you.
Case number 2289 CESM is for the property located at 458 First Street, Geneva, which is owned by Joseph A. Lynch and Katrina J. Allen. The violation charged is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violations are installation of 2 AC units and a standby generator without the required permits. The case summary is as follows. The initial inspection was 2/16/22. Notice to respondent was 2/17/22. Compliance date was 4/12/22. Follow-up inspections, as shown both on-site visit and via computer. Results of the re-inspections are that the violations remain on the property. This screenshot from the property appraiser's website shows Joseph A. Lynch and Katrina J. Allen are the record owners of the property. This is a photograph showing the posted notice of this hearing on the property. This is a photograph of the AC units taken 2/16/22 and the standby generator taken 2/16/22. And these are further photos taken for 15/22, 11/16/22. This screen shows applications were received on 3/21/22 and 10/12/22 to correct the violations. These applications are currently under review and have not been issued as permits. Permit application 22-19015 is for the generator, pending documents and task acceptance from contractor since 11/8/22. Permit application 22-17308 is for the AC changeout and ductwork, pending corrections since 10/18/22. Permit application 22-4495 is for the gas generator and water heater, pending outstanding items since 8/10/22. This is a copy of the application and date applied for permits 22-4495 and 22-17308. And this is an application for 22-19015. This shows a copy of Chapter 40 in which they are in violation of. Recommendation, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2289 CESM, is determined that the respondents are the record owners of the property located at 458 First Street, Geneva, in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It is further recommended that the special magistrate order the respondents to correct the violations on or before January 12th, 2023. In order to correct the violations, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violations. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violations continue or are repeated after compliance. The respondents must contact the inspector to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. So ordered. And the next and final case is 2296 CESM, respondent Ms. Margaret Jack.
Kyle Kasich, Building Inspector. I have presented a copy of this presentation to the clerk and request it be entered into the record.
It's accepted. Thank you.
Case number 2296 CESM is for the property located at 105 Temple Drive, Sanford, which is owned by Margaret A. Jack. The violation charged is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. The description of the violation is installation of a shed and fencing without the required permits. The case summary is as follows. The initial inspection was on 4/6/22. Notice to respondent was 4/6/22. Compliance date was 8/9/22. Follow-up inspections as shown both on-site visit and via computer. Results of re-inspections are that the violations remain on the property. This screenshot from the property appraiser's website shows Margaret A. Jack is the record owner of the property. This photograph shows the posting of the notice for this hearing on the property. This is a photograph of the violation taken 3/30/22, another 7/21/22, 8/11/22, 10/10/22, and finally 11/16/22. This screen shows no permits have been applied for or issued to correct the violation, and for clarification, in order those permits, the 20-10693 is a re-roof, and directly under it is a voided re-roof. They're in violation of Chapter 40 of the Seminole County Code, and the recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 2296 CESM. Is determined that the respondent is the record owner of the property located at 105 Temple Drive, Sanford, in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It is further recommended that the special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violations on or before January 12th, 2023. In order to correct the violations, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for cited violations. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violations continue or are repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, so ordered. Okay, there are no other cases for today, correct?
Correct.
Okay, then I will go ahead and approve the minutes of October 13th, 2022, and confirm our next meeting date will be December 8th, 2022. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
You.